Welcome back to the UPress Play Show, a student media production. I'm JD, joined alongside me is Maddox, Megan, and Cameron. We are live streaming on OwlTV's YouTube channel, so if you want to see the visual, unfortunately our couch broke, so I don't know if you didn't see the last episode, you can also see that on OwlTV's YouTube channel. We had a different setup, but you know, we move with the punches. And we're also live streaming over the breezeway and on Owl Radio. So if you want the visual format, we got that. If you want the audio format, we got that too. So thank you guys for watching. Guys, we made it through the syllabus week. And Cameron, I feel like for us as seniors, I feel like this is like the hardest syllabus week of like my tenure at FAU, simply because I didn't get one of the classes that I needed for graduation until like Wednesday. And
abandoned me in the class we had together.
Yeah, I unfortunately had to drop that class that I was with you.
Okay, it's cool.
Yeah. But meanwhile, even though the man didn't sit next to me in class.
That's not true. He showed up to class 30 minutes late.
I did.
He's not a scholar.
Do we have witnesses? Do we have witnesses to this event?
It was 30 minutes late. I was there 10 minutes early, like the scholar I am. Thank you. So yeah, that was his fault. But yeah, I'm gonna miss you in that class.
I'll miss you too. I didn't want to drop the class. Shout out Professor Eileen Prusher. If you're a multimedia studies journalism major, you know that's one of the GOATs. We all know as journalism majors, like we all love and appreciate her. If you just so happen to be watching this, shout out you, Professor Prusher. But yeah, I had to drop that credit. Shout out Ruben, advisor Ruben Caresses. He's the one that got me into my digital marketing class. So yeah, I had to shout out him. But what about you guys? How's syllabus week? As you guys are upperclassmen now, right?
Yeah. We are.
Oh,
yeah.
Man, how's it going?
Good, because I'm an upperclassman, I'm officially kicked off campus. I can't live on campus, and now I have to live off campus. That's great.
Me too. Me too.
Yeah, really?
It's like, rough out here.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's because they prioritize freshmen for on campus.
Freshmen and sophomores, and if you're a junior or senior, like, you're not really going to get housing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is unfortunate. But if you don't know what the show is, we're just here to talk everything athletics. We have all been a sport editor with the University Press in our experience. Cam, it was years and years ago. That's UNC status.
I'm trying to think what the year would be. It would have been like
22.
My freshman year, you were the sports.
22 to 23, I think it was.
Yeah.
Yep. And then it was Maddox first semester. Then I took over after that semester. And then after that, it was
I took over.
So it's kind of like a rite of passage to do this show that you have to have some sort of experience with the UP, right, and be a sports editor. So I think that's really cool, and it shows that we all have like that sort of experience. But we have a segment that we do every show that we call FAU housekeeping. You know, make sure that FAU athletics, everything's in order. First thing on the slate, if you didn't see, FAU men's basketball team has been confirmed to participate in the Charleston Classic, which is one of those like tournament styles that college basketball has towards the beginning of the season, and they will be playing Oklahoma State. That game will be November 21st, and the winner of that game will play the winner of the University of Miami versus Drake. I don't know if is it Drake University?
Yeah.
Where is that?
It's in like in Indiana somewhere.
I don't really understand like when colleges have like names that really don't have anything to do with like the city. Or,
Oftentimes, I feel like it's usually like the name of like a person, so that's what I imagine that would be. It's
yeah, but Drake didn't found that university.
No, well, yeah, obviously, like I'm sure it's not like Brizzy University, but like like the founder was probably had it in the name or something.
Yeah, and then they're, you know, you would think with a university like Drake, it would be the Drake Dragons or something like that, or the Drake Bulldogs. But I guess maybe that's too on the nose.
I feel like also just like basics, like a lot of college teams are either called like the Tigers or like the Bulldogs or the Panthers or something. So, or even the Owls. So like.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah. There's 3 Owls in our conference: Temple, FAU, and Rice. Yeah.
In Texas.
Yeah, we need some new original ones like the I couldn't.
I was gonna say just like called Burrowing Owls. So that's literally what the logo is supposed to be. So.
Yeah. We like really like set ourselves apart from the grain.
Exactly.
But yeah, so that's that's exciting news for a team that is pretty much all brand new. All the team that was on that Final Four, they all transferred. We spoke about that in the spring and on the show. But you know, it's encouraging to see that Coach Jackus, the new head coach for FAU men's basketball, is actively working towards kind of beefing up the non-conference schedule. Because when he first got hired, he mentioned that he's aware of how college basketball works with quad wins, things like that. And I don't know, Cameron, can you kind of explain that in like
Yeah, no, well, I'll just kind of like agree with you that I like that even with like a unknown roster, a completely rebuilt roster, they're not shying away from, like you said, beefing up the non-conference schedule. Because you know, you'd think they might kind of shy away from some of those like bigger name, Power Four teams, but they're not, which I think is encouraging because when you get later in the season, get towards March, and you have a committee looking at your resume, like you said, those quad one, quad two, and for those who are listening, those are just, your wins are separated into quad one through quad four. Obviously, quad one being better teams, quad four being the worst. Those matter whenever you're trying to get a bid into the conference tournament, especially when you don't get that automatic bid. Wins like that against good teams early in the season, they matter. So I like that they're not shying away from that. I do wish, I think, in a lot of FAU fans, they wish they would have drawn Miami in the first round.
Yeah.
But now, hey, you have extra motivation to go win that first round and go meet Miami in the second.
If they do win. But yeah, so yeah, just how Cameron got over the quad wins. That was pretty much how FAU made it into the March Madness tournament last year. If you get an automatic bid if you win your conference tournament. FAU unfortunately didn't do that. I remember we were at CMA, or I was at CMA, the College Media Association conference, and I was watching on the TV screen the game. I believe they played Temple and they lost. And, everyone now at that point, you're forced to hold your breath.
Exactly.
If the committee thinks you're one of the best 64 teams in the country to play in March Madness. And fortunately for FAU, I will say, like, now looking back on it, I really feel like FAU just got in because they were in the Final Four last year. There were quality wins. Texas A&M are, winning out the ESPN Invitational last year. Arizona, I think that Arizona win definitely carried.
Huge. Yeah, that's I mentioned on the podcast a couple times, being like that Arizona win definitely carried FAU to where it was. Because I remember,
especially with those like not droughts, but like those lulls they kind of experienced in like late January or early February last year. That I think win carried a lot of water, and like that last season, I think just goes to show you how important it is that they get a couple of those big games earlier in the season because. I feel like we all felt like last year it was like a given that they'd be back in the tournament, but then whenever they lost to Temple, it was like all of a sudden it's not just like a given. Like I said, like they get in. So it showed just how much like those quality wins matter later in the season in March.
Yeah. Actually, it was kind of a common thing. People were mentioning on Twitter. I remember after that when the news FAU was going to be in the tournament and USF wasn't. A lot of people were mad. Oh, why not USF? They had a great schedule. Well, they didn't have that
many quality wins.
Ranked teams, any big quad 2, quad 1 teams. And I think also that tournament showed how competitive the AAC men's basketball is because Temple, they made it to the finals and they were, I think, like a double-digit seed.
Yeah.
Well, FAU had a couple of buys. So that tournament, a lot of surprises, shows how tough this conference is.
And so why you need these wins.
And also that's why they made a decision for Coach Jackus to be in this new coaching role when Dusty May left for Michigan.
But that's why I like this matchup for them. I think it's a good team for, because Coach Jackus, he coached Baylor last year and they played Oklahoma State and they won. So he has experience playing this team. He kind of knows how they work from his experience like last year and just being in the Pac-12. And they also went like 4-14 last season in their conference. So it's not like exactly. It's a higher conference, but they're not the top team in their conference. So I like this matchup, and I think it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, I think it's definitely beneficial for FAU simply because like the whole concept of quad wins, like I really got into it last year because of the whole Final Four and covering men's basketball last season, where pretty much like regardless of if you beat a team or lose to a team on your schedule, you pretty much have to root for them the rest of the season because it's not the way the metrics work for the people watching at home or in your classroom. Pay attention in class. Pretty much like if, for example, Texas A&M, we beat them. If they continue to lose games, that win isn't, it starts to lose quality because people are like, oh, well, maybe they were a fraud. They actually weren't that good. So when we beat Arizona, you pretty much have to root for Arizona the rest of the season, because if they continue to lose games,
makes that win look so much
it makes
better.
well, if they're losing, it makes it look
Right.
worse. But if they start winning, it makes it look better. And I think there's a lot of opportunity where if they beat Oklahoma State, just be playing in the Big 12, they're going to play quality opponents as well. So maybe it'll boost the quality of that win as well. I remember I was obsessed because once FAU lost in the AAC tournament, I was like, man, like, are we even gonna make it? I was sports editor at the time, so I wanted to go to March Madness to cover it. Cam was able to cover the Final Four when he was sports editor, so I was like, team, like, please, like, I want this opportunity. And I was just watching like the way the wins and losses, the way the quad levels would change and stuff like that. It's really weird, and I feel like that's a big reason why people do like college sports, because it's not like the NFL where it's like, all right, wins and losses. If you have the most wins, you're just into the playoffs. Like, there's just so much like data and also just like personal bias, because it is a committee of people that choose these teams. So it just makes every game that much more important.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's definitely encouraging news that we're only in August and we're having some sort of updates on the schedule. So I hope that they do get some more, you know, quality non-conference games. But I just hope it's not like last year where most of them were in neutral locations.
Well, I know I was looking at there's a couple of their schedules, like confirmed games from FAU's Owl's Nest, and they were saying like it was like UCF, which is also in the Big 12, and Indiana State, who we all know from last year, had a great run, but again with those quad wins, they just couldn't make it into the NCAA tournament. Also didn't win their conference tournament as well. But Indiana State also going some new changes, new head coach. Their star player Robbie Avila is now going with the old head coach of St. Louis. So I feel like with that, I mean, game against Indiana State, how well they played last year, possibly continue on that run. Also, those could be some big games as well for FAU as well. They win those.
Yeah, it's looking like it's shaping up to be really good. I'm actually really excited for that UCF game. Do you know if it's in Orlando or if it's here? Either way, I'm going.
For the men's basketball?
Yes.
For the UCF, I don't know exactly. I think it's a neutral. I don't know. I gotta double check.
Well,
unless anyone wants to check it out. I mean, they know.
Yeah, right. For any information, email us at universitypress@gmail.com. But yeah, that's it for men's basketball. Any updates, we will have that for you. But very early, and you know, when the full non-conference schedule releases, we'll have an article on that, and I'm looking forward to that one. Next on the list, FAU women's soccer lost to FIU 2-0 yesterday. Unfortunate loss, as it snaps a 10-game win streak against the Panthers. You know, FAU really takes a lot of pride in being FIU's rival, and pretty much, well, I don't want to be like vulgar here, but we own them. And
it's big brother, little brother type
big brother, little brother. Yeah, I was going more like parental, so that's why I was like, let me chill. But yeah, unfortunate loss for them. But they now are winless on the season, first 3 games of the season, and it's only a 19-game season, so we're all hoping that they can kind of turn that around. After that, we have an interesting story that Megan is going to tell us about.
Yeah, so actually the NCAA, back in June, they are now allowing for college football teams to implement 3 on-field sponsorship logos, and they have certain regulations. One of them, it's a larger scale logo, and it has to be at like the 50-yard line. And then the other 2 are smaller scale logos, and they can get placed anywhere else on the field. The reason that the NCAA said that they made this change was so that like athletic teams, or their football teams in specific, could get more revenue. And FAU, the UPress wrote an article about it, and FAU said that they're in the works of working with PlayFi, their producer, and they're trying to figure out a logo and a sponsorship that would align with like the school's mission. So it'll be interesting to see once they finalize that and what sponsorships they pick, because certain schools have decided that they're not going to do it. Like there is an ESPN article, and Alabama was very firm on not implementing this change because they want to stick with they're a more traditional kind of school. You know, they've never really changed, and they have so much money they really don't need more. But the reason that Florida Atlantic wants to use it is so that they can put this money back into their football program, give it to the athletes, and help to generate that kind of revenue that'll bring in more like stronger recruits.
No, absolutely. Honestly, I think I just leave it open to the floor. Do you guys think this is a good move for college football or sort of a bad move? Because the way that I sort of see it, it makes me think of, I don't know if you guys watch UFC or MMA. It makes me think about how they stopped allowing fighters to have sponsorships on their shorts because that it was ugly, or that it looked weird to have like Jimmy John's on your thigh and then like Monster Energy like on your cheek. You know what I mean? So but then in turn, there's tons of logo and signage on the floor in the cage. So I kind of see it being a similar thing, and I kind of see where Alabama's coming from, where it's gonna maybe mess with the visuals and you know, really take you out of the game. And a lot of people always complain about, especially when it comes to sports production and things like that, that there's just too much advertisement, especially when it comes to gambling and things like that. So I don't know, what's your guys' thoughts on that?
I don't really know how to. I feel like on both sides of the fence with this because, like you said, for smaller schools in FAU's position, it's good to have like another revenue stream so you can catch up to, you know, like the blue bloods and things like NIL in any way you can. But I also, it's like the commercialization of sports is just so like blah, because like you look in like the pros, and they're in like a similar process to where like it's just ad after ad after ad all across the stadium, and now it's even moving on to the jerseys in the NBA and now the MLB. Some teams are kind of like take like that Alabama approach. Like it took a while for the Cubs to get a logo on their jersey, but now they're one of the other teams that are folded. So I feel like this is something you're gonna see in college eventually. Now that they're moving ads onto the field, how long till you know we're seeing like FAU roll out there with like a Jimmy John's, for example, jersey or patch on their jersey, and it's just like, when is the commercialization of sports gonna end? But at the same time, it's also good that you know some of the smaller schools, FAU for example, have another revenue stream. So it's kind of like I see both sides of it, but you know.
I like the change because it applies to all three divisions. So I feel like they probably I mean I can't speak for ESPN, but or not ESPN, the NCAA, but I think that they kind of did this probably for more like the Division II and Division III schools, because a lot of Division I schools, they're the ones that are getting more media attention and more students trying to go there, so they're generating more revenue. And also, I feel like since they have limitations on it and that it's only 3 specifically, and I like too that they have it set that only one can be larger and the other ones have to be smaller. I'm curious to see what the specifics are on the sizing, but I think it's a really good change. And you know, football stadiums, they already have along like the sidelines, it's like wrapped with sponsorships. So I feel like it's kind of like what's adding 3 more. Yeah.
That's a good point. I also wonder how many schools are going to take like that Alabama stance and like, oh, we don't really need the extra $500K a year, and like we take pride because a lot of schools, especially in college, they like take pride in their uniform. A lot of college schools, they've had like the same uniform for like decades and decades, and that's something that they like take pride in not changing. So I wonder like how many schools, especially like thinking like SEC, Big Ten type schools, are gonna take that approach like, oh, we're not gonna do that. That's something we stay away from.
Yeah, historical like Minnesota, the Minnesotas and the Michigans,
yeah,
and Ohio States.
Question for you guys though, like if you had to pick a sponsorship to just like smack dab on like the FAU 50-yard line, what would you go with?
I feel like it has to be like something that like really encapsulates like the South Florida vibe. But you also have to think too, what company is gonna be like have the money to like, you know, finance that, and what would be worth it.
Dream big. This is a hypothetical situation.
I mean, I feel like the one that's always screaming at me is just Celsius because they're located here in Boca Raton. think that's one. I mean, you guys saw that FIU Stadium is now named Pitbull Stadium.
I don't want to give FIU props, but that's dope. I'm sorry.
It is.
I think that's awesome. I'm sorry. Like,
just like imagine like when it's like a big third down, instead of playing like Mo Bamba, it's just like Pitbull saying like Dalek.
I think it's cool. I wish like FAU had like a really like famous alumni. I wish like Lil Wayne went to FAU so we
can be the
stadium or something.
Top Noble alumni is Carrot Top.
No, if this ends up being Carrot Top Stadium, I don't think I'd go to
I was like,
love our alum, but I think
Kodak Black went here.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Maybe it's Kodak Stadium.
Kodak Black Stadium.
No, definitely not. That's another thing too that needs to be talked about is the association with Kodak and like different like athletics and stuff like that. We had Antonio Brown. Yeah, like,
interesting decision.
A lot of interesting characters that end up being associated with FAU, but I mean, I guess there's no such thing as.
But we're landing with Celsius, like in the middle of on the 50-yard line.
Honestly, no. Honestly, like I know that FAU is probably going to find a company or a business to collaborate with, but like I don't know, maybe do like something like the YMCA. I'd like to see the YMCA. Yeah. There you go. Something to like support the community.
Anything like beach related, I feel like, because that would kind of tie into like the whole theme that FAU has going on. You know, like the stadium has the like 1.8 miles from the beach all over.
I'm trying to think.
So if they did like a jet ski company, that'd be cool.
Or like maybe like a surfing thing.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people do FAU. They do surf, so.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, but when we do get that information, like I said, check out UPress online. We do have a live read. Interested in a career in media? Come stop by the second floor of the Student Union to meet the 3 pillars of student media. OwlTV in room 231, Owl Radio in room 207, and University Press in room 214. If you're a journalism major, comms, communications, marketing, or just looking for a cool community, come check us out. UP general meetings are Mondays at 2 p.m., TV general meetings are Fridays at 3, and radio general meetings are to be dated. For more information, search FAU Student Media online. All right, guys, we were talking about it a little bit last show on Wednesday about the Olympics and just the overall things that we enjoyed. And one thing that we briefly touched on that we're going to dive deeper into right now is the announcement of flag football for the LA Olympics in 2028. Did you guys see the ad that they did for that where it was like Jalen Hurts and he threw like a football on fire to light the torch? That was hard. I like that was a really dope promo. But the reason it became such a big story is because there was debates on if NFL players are going to be allowed to represent the United States in the Olympics, which, you know, we think about when it's basketball, we send our NBA players, but historically it wasn't always like that. I believe it was one Olympics in either the 80s or the 90s. Traditionally, they would always send college players to go represent the United States, and then I think they came up short one year. Didn't win gold, and then the Olympic Committee pretty much put their foot down, and we were like, we're gonna go get the best of the best, and that's what birthed the Dream Team, Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, all those guys. So now there's similar conversations because there is already a flag football team in place for the United States, and because of those conversations of NFL players, you know, either in tweets or social media or in the press saying like, yeah, I want to be in the Olympics, represent USA, which is honestly such like a great opportunity. And there's never been any opportunity unless like an NFL player does like bench pressing or some sort of like, what's that one with, like where you like spin with the
discus
ball?
What?
No,
it's the shot put where they have the little and they're like,
yeah, like I could totally see like Quinnen Williams or like Quentin Nelson doing shot put. But there, like I said, there's no opportunity for football players to really compete in the Olympics.
Yeah, let's track. I mean, Tyreek Hill, he did compete in some track events. I saw like there's like this viral like known video of like these like track guys in the Olympics who were running, and they have like a little line showing how Tyreek Hill ran it.
Yeah.
And, like that line's like very close to like the top like 4 guys.
Yeah.
And, like ran back in like high school or something.
Yeah, it's definitely it's a football speed and track speed are definitely two different things. But I think if he really trained for it, he could. But all these kind of conversations made the quarterback for USA flag football, Daryl Doucette, you know, kind of stand on business for himself and for his team. And we have a clip of an interview where he kind of says, you know, why he should be the quarterback for USA and why it shouldn't be anybody else.
At the end of the day, I feel like I'm better than Patrick Mahomes because of my IQ of the game. I know he's right now the best in the league. I know he's more accurate. I know he has all these intangibles. But when it comes to flag football, I feel like I know more than him.
So yeah, he claimed that he's better than Patrick Mahomes because he doesn't think that his skills translate to flag football. Pretty outrageous statement for, I mean, no offense to Mr. Doucette's skill set, but I just think, professional NFL athletes and people that play flag football, it's not the same type of human.
Well, I think some important context is also that video you just saw is him doubling back. There were comments before that where it's something along the same line. And whenever he made those comments, at first I was kind of like, I can understand. Like, you and your team probably did a lot for, flag football to get implemented into the Olympics, and, you want your credit. But then when you double back and then you're like, actually, no, I'm just better than Patrick Mahomes, that's when you lose me. But I can kind of respect the, this crazy self-confidence, I guess.
Yeah, so I mean, I get what you're saying because they definitely did, do a lot of the heavy lifting when it comes to making flag football popular. But I mean, I don't know, do you guys think it should be the people that are traditionally been representing flag football for the United States, or should we allow our professional NFL athletes onto the team?
I think it should be 50-50.
Okay.
Because the flag football, they've been working for that. That's what they do. And it'd be rude to not allow them to play flag football in the Olympics. But also I think that NFL players should have an opportunity to compete in the Olympics because, like we said earlier, they don't really get other chances. So I'd say 50-50.
I can agree with that. And also I think part of it, to kind of side with the flag quarterback a little bit, it is kind of a different game. Because, the rules are different. You're playing on a much smaller field, it's just an inherently different game. So that's part of it. But let's be real. Even though it's different, you're going to tell me Tyreek Hill doesn't at least deserves some consideration. But I do agree that because it's something different in that he's kind of explaining a little bit, the IQ of the game might be a little bit different. They should get their consideration.
That's where he loses me, because it's to say that Patrick Mahomes wouldn't have the I get what you're saying, right? Because it is a 7-on-7 format, so there's no line, there is a pass rush eventually, one guy, I think it's a 3-second Mississippi count, you get one blitz per every 4 downs. So the game is different, but to say that professional NFL athletes who memorize hundreds of plays in the playbook, defensive players that memorize tens of hundreds of defensive coverages, to say that they couldn't learn flag football that I was playing in team sports in high school is I don't know. I get where he's coming from, where he's listen, we've been doing this, give us a shot. And I'm also interested to see how would they implement a 50-50 kind of split, because if they do tryouts for the receivers, I'm sorry, I don't think any of those flag football receivers are making it.
Probably not.
But I mean, I there was one clip of Doucette where he went on a scramble and he hit the craziest, literally did a full squat while sprinting to avoid his flag getting grabbed. And that's why it is different, because NFL players are used to tackling. I could totally see if we send NFL players, they just are gonna probably just instinctively try to tackle somebody, and that's probably gonna be a flag on the play. So, I don't know, but I do want to see Tyreek Hill and Lamar Jackson out there on the field, because I think when we think about football, period, flag or tackle, professional, amateur, we think about the best of the best, and the best of the best are in the NFL. And not all NFL players are from the United States either. So, are other countries going to allow NFL players to be in flag? And then at that point, what do we do? Because I think the most unfortunate thing would be is if we send the flag football team and they come back with bronze or silver, the NFL is probably going to petition heavy to really put in, the big dogs, you know what I mean? So it's definitely a really nuanced situation, but I mean, I don't know. I want to see Mahomes and Lamar Jackson go crazy on the flag field. But with that topic, we came up with a very interesting idea to have our own flag football team. So we are going to be 4 countries. We're usually a team. We're usually a team on this panel, on this podcast, on this show. But Now I'm JD Landia over here. All right, no invasion over here. And what we're gonna do is we're going to draft our flag football team. So before the show, we decided on the draft order. We put all 4 of our names on a wheel that we spun, and I have the #1 overall pick. I'm a boss. Maddox has the 2nd overall pick. Megan has the 3rd overall pick. Cameron has the 4th, and we're doing snake draft format. So with Cameron picking last, he will then pick next after that, and we'll go in reverse. We're doing a quarterback, 2 pass catchers, a running back, and 1 main guy to anchor your defense. And by the end of the show, we'll see who has the best team.
And maybe we'll do a Twitter poll so you can tell us who's the best team. Obviously, it's going to be mine, but you know
Yeah.
they can play for second. You know.
Whatever Cameron said. Yeah, what we could do is maybe we'll make a graphic of our team and we'll post it out and do a Twitter poll. But yeah, with me going first, I think with the #1 overall pick,
Yeah.
yeah, right. If we had like a drum roll or that was the draft.
We can give you a drum roll.
Yeah, right. I'm gonna go with Tyreek Hill. I just think that that's the obvious choice in the flag format. I just think that with there being less players on defense, you know, you're gonna have to double Tyreek Hill, and at that point, that allows the rest of my team to, you know, get one-on-one coverage. So yeah, I think Tyreek Hill is the best pick. You got to take the best available guy in the first round. So Maddox, you look excited. Who you got?
So I'm gonna go with no surprise here, Patrick Mahomes, with my first pick. So
That could be expected.
Yeah, to be expected. I got to write these down
We
because
got Tyreek Hill with the #1 pick, Patrick Mahomes with the #2 pick.
all right, Megan.
I will actually be picking my running back, and I want Jamar Gibbs because I feel like in flag you need a solid running back because they're gonna try to get your flags. So and also I have to.
Are you stiff arming people?
No bias.
Well, there's bias, but
100%.
well, okay, no. He has had a very solid season. He did very well last year, so I have confidence in him.
Actually, you know what? Now,
That's a pretty underrated pick because it's like you need a
That's
running
fine.
back who's a pass catcher.
He
Like
is.
you needed I feel like or actually, you know, I'm not gonna give you advice. I'm not gonna give you advice.
That-
That's an underrated pick, though.
I
I
think
like that.
one thing that I'm actually forgetting, and I'm not necessarily regretting, but we do have to remember that this is 4 years in the future. So I believe Tyreek Hill is going to be he'll probably be retired. Actually, he will be retired because he did say.
Well,
that
we
his
can
Dolphins-
pretend like it's tomorrow.
If it was
I'm
tomorrow.
thinking as this is if tomorrow, is we're
Okay,
playing
if we were,
tomorrow.
yeah, if JD Landia was going to war with Megan Landia in flag football, it's happening tomorrow. We have to declare who's better at flag football. All right, we'll go with that. But yeah, I think people trying to hype up Tyreek Hill, now that I think about it, like he's going to be 4 years older. He'll probably already be out of the NFL. Maybe actually then he'll be eligible because he won't be a part of the NFL. Maybe Doucette will finally accept him, but we'll see.
So am I now on the clock?
You're on the clock.
Mm.
This man made a whole draft board.
I'm looking at it right
I'm doing
now.
it off the dome. Do you have a draft board?
No.
I have a draft.
You have a draft board?
Okay, so
Since he took Gibbs, I hope. Oh, but it's snake draft, so I don't pick for a minute.
that's tough. I want to say, with the 4th pick, the United States of Cameron will be taking Lamar Jackson, quarterback from the Ravens.
You know, that's a
It's a solid pick.
that's a good pick.
And I like Lamar as quarterback. Even a little bit better than Mahomes. I think if Mahomes is still there, I'd still take Lamar. Just because of from what I've seen, the quarterback run is very important, it seems, in flag football. This guy, Doucette, is running the ball a lot. And, you know, I was thinking maybe I might give this pick away, Kyler Murray, because he's a lot shorter than Lamar, so I'm thinking that maybe to his advantage, it might be harder to pull his flag, and he's just I think a little bit more shifty, maybe not as fast straight away speed as Lamar, but he might be a little bit more agile and shifty for Lamar.
That's what I was
thinking, Kyler.
That's what I was thinking too, because I think it depends on how you want to build your team. Because Mahomes' running style is very nimble. Make guys miss. He's not the fastest versus Lamar is straight up track speed, run down the middle.
Yeah.
So we really, and now I got.
But I think a mobile quarterback is important. Just giving you all the sauce.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You're also on the clock again.
Again, so my quarterback is Lamar, and I think with the 2nd or the 5th pick, the United States of Cameron will be drafting Christian McCaffrey, running back, the 49ers.
Man, I can't lie. I was kind of clowning that Cameron was going last, and I think that's really.
And
you let him get Christian McCaffrey, Megan. No, it's all right.
Yeah, no, for running back, again, like I said, you want like you're not in flag football, you're not like pounding the rock running out of I formation. You want someone who's a pass catcher, and I think that's what makes Christian McCaffrey so great is he's like probably the best runner out of the running backs, but he's also probably the best pass catcher. And that's like a huge part of his game, so I think that's why I landed with him.
All right.
Okay.
Back on you, Megan.
For the number 7?
This would be
Okay.
Six,
number
pick
6.
6 overall pick.
I will be taking Brock Purdy.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Can you explain that one a little bit, please?
Yeah, well, okay. I liked that his second year he led his team to a Super Bowl. So I feel like
Do you not Actually, I was gonna say like away from the 49ers is gonna be as good, but I feel like this team is gonna be even better than like the 49ers. So it's like
Well, yeah, because this is pretty much like the monsters of the NFL.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll be honest, I'm not the biggest Purdy believer. I will say, like, absolutely incredible. What I've always told, like when I talk ball with my friends or with the people here on the panel, is that Purdy he's doing great for his story. I mean, he was literally the last overall pick in the draft, Mr. Irrelevant, and you know what I'm saying, to take your team to the Super Bowl, although that team is pretty stacked, it's still an incredible achievement. And he did play really well in that Super Bowl. But
he did.
I just like just the way I see your team molding up, you're gonna really have to surround him with some weapons, which are available.
Don't worry about how my team shoots.
All right, say less. When we take over Megan Landia, you know, it's wraps.
with that would leave
Seventh overall pick.
7th overall pick, I choose Justin Jefferson.
not a bad pick.
It's a good pick, man.
Jake's up
I was
on my draft board.
thinking before we were doing this, I was thinking someone's least going to probably get Jefferson. Before
I won't lie, he was the top of my wide receivers.
Yeah.
And plus, I was going to say, like, with you're talking about like, the NFL and experience with flag football, they have done that instead of like the hard contact, like shoulder pad football they typically done for the Pro Bowl. They're now doing like they did flag football. So there's some experience. We have seen stuff like Mahomes and Tyreek Hill play flag football.
Also, I like Justin Jefferson for this context because, like I said, the field's a lot shorter, so it's not you don't necessarily need a crazy like deep threat. I don't think like you're not going to be throwing a ton of like 50, 60-yard go balls. So having a guy that's
the whole route tree.
Yeah, is good at like intermediate in the short game, in the middle of the field, is good. So that's why I think I had him. I think that's a good pick.
I'm not gonna lie, guys. I feel like I should have done a draft board.
He was talking earlier.
It's tough. No, but it's fine because since you guys all took quarterback already, I can save that for my last guy, which is cool because I got who I wanted there. I think for running back, man, I don't, because I'm looking at it now. You still need 2 wide receivers. You still need 2 wide receivers. Actually, you know what? I'm going to lock up my wide receiver. I'm going to go with A.J. Brown. Because I need that, like, go get it. You know what I mean? A jump ball. If it's in the end zone, I need you know, somebody to throw a fade. I need a big body. Tyreek's on the smaller side. He's going to be like my slot guy. So yeah, I'm going with it. Why are you shaking your head, Cam?
I don't like that. I just don't like that pick because whenever I was making my draft board, I had A.J. Brown to the bottom. Because I think what makes him good is like one, the go route, which I think it's going to be like nerfed a little, if that makes sense, in flag football. But he's also like his physicality, how like just swole he is and how he can like get in press coverage and get like a cornerback off his face. That kind of gets nerfed a little bit when you're not full contact in flag, I think.
I see what you're saying, but I don't, because I think I haven't played flag football. Like, I mean, I'm in like a 5'8", 155-pound body. So like, I can't even imagine, but like, I feel like there has to be some sort of benefit to being a bigger body when you're playing flag, because
like you said on the jump ball, I think.
On the jump ball, definitely. For sure. That was my thought process with that pick, but I think I am taking away the fact that nobody's really allowed to touch each other. Like, you're allowed to press, obviously, like as a corner, but Yeah, I mean, you're not gonna make me second guess, and I'm going again anyways. So, all right, I locked down my receivers. I don't even have to worry about.
So that would put me on the clock, correct?
No, I'm on the clock because we're snake draft. So
correct.
So
Yeah.
my running back, I feel like there's better guys out there, but I didn't do a draft board. I'm gonna go with Achane, Devon Achane.
Bad pick.
I think he showed some flashes of being able to be a pass catcher in that backfield. And he's on the younger side. You want a young running back. That's why I really like your Gibbs pick. And I mean, yeah, it's just he's over there. And I mean he's there in the gym with Waddle and Tyreek Hill. So he's probably only getting faster. So, what you thinking? Were you hating?
No. Keep going.
So that's my pick. I got Devon Achane at running back, and that gives it back to Maddox.
So I was originally, just before, I was thinking of this one receiver. Then I thought of, just a second ago, another receiver, young, very fast, which you need in flag football, Xavier Worthy.
You know what?
Ooh.
And what college did he play for?
Texas.
Which
I also think probably one
of the rookie, unproven.
And he's on the Chiefs now, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
He has the fastest of
and you know what? You're getting that chemistry right now with that quarterback receiver connection. That's a sleeper pick right there.
I didn't like Xavier Worthy as a draft prospect, but for flag football, maybe. Just because I didn't like him as a prospect because of how ridiculously small or skinny he is. I think he weighs 175 pounds.
Yeah,
or something like that.
Probably getting jammed at that line.
In the NFL, and there's been clips from training camp of him really, really struggling against press coverage, but in flag, when that gets toned down a little bit, I think that's not a horrible pick.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Megan, you're on the clock.
I'll take Travis Kelce.
Not bad.
Because I want a guy with some experience, because right now I'm having a very young team, and he has a lot, so I think his experience would add a new level to the team.
Well, she wants Taylor Swift at the sidelines singing.
No, they broke up. They broke up.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
What?
Didn't they? Isn't that confirmed?
Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce.
We will not confirm.
I love for sports people, and we're all ready to be like, oh my god.
I'm not a Swiftie, but how did I miss that?
Don't quote me, but I'm pretty sure that they ended things.
We will not confirm or deny those reports.
Anyways, we're drafting football team.
We're drafting football team. That's crazy. That would be crazy though, because they really did all that promo for.
Oh, I know.
A less than year relationship. Anyways, I think that's a good choice. I'm not sure, because I know traditionally in flag football, at least when I remember playing it in high school, you need somebody to snap the ball. And Kelsey's used to it, in formations as a tight end or being in three-point stance. So he could snap your ball. He could also block.
Well, because he's bigger.
Bigger body.
Yeah.
So and sometimes they do send the blitz and flags. So, have Kelsey protect Purdy, and then, be right there on the flat. So, I feel like tight end, I should have, man. I don't know. Nah, I like my team, man. You guys aren't going to make me second guess, but that's a good pick. All right, Cam. You're on the clock.
Cameron Priester's on the clock.
United States.
United States of Cameron's on the clock.
Maddox, start workshopping your country. Megan, also, you don't have to be Megan Landia. I'm already JD Landia, so you guys workshop your country.
Oh, my country name.
Wow, Cam is viciously looking through.
Country's name is mine.
All right, well, let's save it when we go.
I think with my pick, I'm staying home, and I'm taking DJ Moore, wide receiver, Chicago Bears. Just because I think he's great route runner, one. He is great at creating separation, and he's really good after the catch, which I think, like I said, when the field is smaller and it's a lot more intermediate routes, I think that's going to be important.
And also because he plays for the Bears.
And also, because he plays for the Bears, huh?
No, I remember. Which game was it that he had over 300 yards and it was all yak?
It was probably that Thursday night game against Washington.
I think a lot of people benched him actually, and he scored 44 fantasy points.
Yep.
You can't hold it. Yeah, I would say he also had Justin Fields as his quarterback last year, so that's kind of
definitely yards after catch is really important. And I mean, I'm curious how nimble he is. I mean, yards after the catch in football, tackle football is different because you just run through a guy, you make a guy miss, but you also have to think of dudes just you don't actually really need to be that close to somebody to grab their flag. You know what I mean? So
Right. Well, I chose DJ Moore with that pick because I'm on the clock again, no?
yes, you go next.
And I'm getting another wide receiver. And this might be crazy. This
Is it Roman
might be
Ruiz?
crazy. No. Good idea.
I mean, I'm
Um,
going all Miami right now too. So well, for the most part.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if you're going to be able to because I'm taking Jalen Waddle.
Oh.
Wide receiver, Miami Dolphins.
Also,
Because like DJ Moore's not like he's great after the catch, but he's not necessarily that like speedster, just like blazing fast in the straightaway, which I think in flag you might need one. And whenever you said Jalen Waddle, and I was like, that's who I was thinking.
Yeah,
He wasn't on the board, but whenever you said that, he got out there.
The fact that you made a board and then didn't have Waddle on it is kind of crazy. But
Well,
you're
the two wide receivers I really wanted were DJ Moore and Justin Jefferson.
okay. Well, I think all right. Well, there's still somebody that needs to pick wide receiver, so you're giving free game right now. But that's all right. You got your team.
No, I need a defensive player still.
All right, and that'll come back around.
That'll come back around.
All right, Megan, on the clock.
I have to go to the side of bias again, and I'm going to take St. Brown.
Not a bad pick.
No, I think it's a good pick.
I mean, what, 3 or 4 in the
No, he was ranked third
in the league
in the
receiving
league
yards.
at the end of the year.
Receiving
So
yards.
it's not a bad pick. It's a very good pick, even though it does have some bias in it. But also, you know, 2 Lions players will have some chemistry.
Wait, remind me, Megan, your team right now.
I have it written right now.
I couldn't tell you.
I have it written down. Megan has Brock Purdy at quarterback, Amon-Ra at receiver, Kelsey at another receiver, Gibbs as her running back, and everyone still needs a defense. Cool. I feel like your pass, the quality of pass catchers is on the lower tier, but I mean, you know what? You got to go with your heart. You got to go with the heart of your country. So
Who's on the board now? Maddox?
Maddox is on the board.
So France chooses it.
That's
my country's name.
That's your country's name. Just
Are you French?
No, I'm
No.
thinking French, but I'm not French.
Okay.
chose
But
France?
that country, there's a country with that name already.
Yeah, so
Just
You can be France part
it'll be
too.
a silent H in it. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
okay.
All right. So
All right, France.
France with a silent H chooses Sauce Gardner.
That was.
I knew I was gonna get Cameron. I knew I was gonna get Cameron.
Wow.
Okay.
All right. So now I think my question is, what made you want to go corner over, let's say, linebacker or safety? D-line is not applicable in flag football, but what's the rationale?
Very young. He has like kind of like that build, very kind of slim, but also that is very important. Not having too much like muscle mass that kind of slow you down in flag football, and his route running, his coverage. Have you seen videos like people trying to square up against him? He's all over him. He is very good.
It's also holding.
Yeah, but
Throw that flag. No, but
I mean that's important for flag football. And then you grab the flag. So I mean, for him, Sauce Gardner.
he was on my board just because he also does have really long arms, and I think that has to play a factor when you think about flag football. Because even if, like, let's say he gets beat on a route, even if the guy catches it, at least just grab his flag. He's down right there, no yards after the catch. So, I mean, I think that was the consensus, like, #1 overall pick for defense.
Defense for sure. I mean, because, like, think about it in, like, Sauce Gardner essentially, like, takes away half of the field, like, in the NFL. Like, it's essentially, like, you just can't throw to that side of the field. And when you shrink it, like in flag football, and you're shrinking how much ground he has to cover. It's like when you have a guy that can just take away almost an entire part of the field, you're definitely like the #1.
Yeah, plus in college, like I think it's last year, no one all the players he was covering, all the receivers he was covering, no one.
Yeah,
caught
didn't give up a
anything.
touchdown. I don't think he gave up a catch.
Quarterbacks even throw towards him because they're like, that guy is going to take out my receiver. I'm going to try to throw the ball. He's going to intercept my pass.
Yeah, and whenever quarterbacks are like refusing to throw, it's almost like that side of the field doesn't exist. You can't put like a value on that.
Yeah.
So thanks for taking my pick.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
I saw your reaction. You said you have one last pick, a defensive guy. I was like, ooh.
Well, I got some backups.
So with my last 2 picks, because I'm going back to back here for quarterback, going with Josh Allen. I need somebody to throw that just absolute bomb, and he's also pretty nimble. He's not nimble in the sense of like a Mahomes where he's agile.
Very underrated runner.
But he's a very underrated runner. He has an absolute cannon of an arm. The turnovers, you got to take with what you got. But I'm thinking that maybe with less players on the field and less of a pass rush, if he can just sit in the pocket, that's gonna be my main coaching critique for him when he's representing JD Landia in flag football, is like, bro, just sit in that pocket, bro. Like, please.
You're not going to deal with the hero ball that he plays.
None of the hero ball, none of the, hurdling over players. We don't need none of that, man. We need you to play good, clean ball. But I needed somebody to throw that fade route to A.J. Brown, throw that go route to Tyreek, and throw that curl or that out route to H-Han. So I like Allen as my quarterback. And I think also him being a bigger body, people are going to have to adjust to grabbing his flag, being that he's a lot taller than the competition. And then for defense, I was talking mad smack about who I was going to pick.
I'm interested to hear this.
Yeah, you were hyping this up.
I'm going with Fred Warner, the linebacker for San Francisco, arguably the best linebacker in the league. And I think, obviously, Sauce Gardner's a great pick because you pretty much eliminate that side of the field. But when I'm thinking about flag, I need that field general in the middle of the field. None of those slants, none of those curls. I need that lockdown. And I also need somebody to communicate with the rest of my defense, make sure that the safety's not too high, not too low, making sure that the corners know what coverage they're in. And I think when I think of the middle linebacker, I'm going with Fred Warner. He's got that Super Bowl experience. Unfortunately, hasn't won a ring yet because of your quarterback, Maddox, but that was my guy. And I think that was one of the best available players.
He's not is a very good, plays very good in coverage for a linebacker, which you're doing a lot. Not a lot of running, like we said in flag football. So I like that.
All right.
Okay.
I don't know. I think my team right now. I will go over the teams at the end, but I don't see any of these teams beating. But anyways, Maddox, you're next. You got your running back left. Who you going with?
I was trying throughout this entire show trying to remember running backs because honestly I can't really remember any. But the one I do remember, and he's very young, so I'm still kind of in that mindset of like a couple of years down the road. So France with a silent H is their final pick is Bijan Robinson.
That's such a great pick.
That's a good pick. But none of y'all gonna take Alvin Kamara? None of y'all? Like the best receiving running back in the NFL? Like,
I don't know, man, he's up there in age, and he was injured last season. Availability is the best ability, and I think Bijan had some absolute crazy. You need a guy who can make a guy miss.
Yep.
And I think that's one thing that maybe H-Han's lacking. He's more of that like track speed. But Bijan will take your ankles. That's a great pick, man.
Yeah, plus
I forgot about him.
Plus, I remember in the draft, like a lot of guys, draft prospects, were saying that Bijan Robinson is one of the best players in that draft class in 2023. So,
not a bad pick.
Yeah.
All right, Megan, you need your defensive player.
Yeah. Also, my name I've decided I'm Meg World.
Oh,
that's my name. But so with Meg World's last pick. My country is taking Aaron Donald from the Rams.
Well, he is retired, but
wait, can you?
I was using. I'm not gonna lie, I was using Google because I couldn't remember any defensive.
Wait.
Aaron, I think that's a sleeper pick because if I was playing flag football and I saw Aaron Donald coming my way, I'm throwing that. Do not touch me, bro. I don't care that it's flag.
I was saying that's kind of interesting because Cameron's saying, can you like draft retired guys? Because if so, everyone probably will go from. Possibly Tom Brady, maybe.
I'm not drafting Tom Brady.
Okay, since he's retired, I'm sorry.
No, keep it.
No, he's retired. That's not fair.
All right. Who
I'll take Nick Bosa's.
Okay.
That's the 49ers.
For the same reason you'd like.
Yeah, pass
Aaron Donald. Yeah.
That pressure. You know what I mean? I don't hate that. All right.
So that would leave me on the board.
Yes.
So with
look, he's scrambling because he took Sauce Gardner.
Trying to narrow it down now. With my last pick, the United States of Cameron will be choosing Pat Surtain, cornerback, Broncos. I want to go cornerback because I feel like essentially when you're passing all the time, everyone on defense has to play like DB essentially. And, with Sauce Gardner down, say probably the second best corner in the league would be Pat Surtain. I wanted to say Jalen Johnson. I'd say Sauce Gardner, Jalen Johnson, and Pat Surtain make up like the consensus 3 best corners. But I think Surtain's a little bit more of a ball hawk, and when so much passing, I think that's going to account for something. I think he had more takeaways than Jalen Johnson did, so I think that's why.
Yeah, I thought
Jalen Johnson is a close second.
I honestly was kind of surprised someone else thought of Michael Parsons. Because, I mean, he's very good defensively. Linebacker, again, I feel general.
Just so much coverage, I feel like. That's why I think a DB would be the smartest, because there's so much passing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But is that it?
That's our team, so I'm gonna go through it.
Go through them real quick.
JD Landia at quarterback, Josh Allen, wide receivers, Tyreek Hill and AJ Brown at running back, Devon Achane, and my defensive anchor, Fred Warner. Maddox, quarterback is Patrick Mahomes. Receivers are Justin Jefferson and Xavier Worthy. Running back, Bijan Robinson, and your defensive anchor, Sauce Gardner. I don't know, man. Your team's kind of stacked. Megan's team is at quarterback, Brock Purdy. At receiver, Amon-Ra St. Brown and Travis Kelce. Jahmyr Gibbs at running back and Nick Bosa for her defensive anchor. And then Cameron, you have Lamar Jackson at your quarterback, DJ Moore receiver, Jalen Waddle, Christian McCaffrey at running back, and Patrick Surtain. So now if we all had to vote for who had the best team, and you can't vote for yourself.
What?
Can't vote for yourself because
Oh.
then that defeats the purpose. I'll go first. I'm probably going with Maddox simply because I think the Mahomes and Worthy chemistry is going to be there. Justin Jefferson, you need a good route runner. Bijan, absolutely insane. Type of guy to make you miss. And Sauce Gardner, best cornerback in the league. I think having the second overall pick is way better than the first because I think the first is like a burden. Second, you're allowed to take the scraps a little bit.
Exactly.
Not to like boost your ego, but I also will have to take Maddox for this one, just because I liked your Robinson pick. I think that was a very solid addition.
This man didn't even have a draft board either. That's what's
I guess we're all just voting for Maddox because that's who I'm gonna go to.
Maddox, if you had to, just for our egos, between the three of us, who'd you have to pick?
I would have to say Cameron.
Thank you. Thank you. I mean, if we could vote for ourselves, United States of Cameron's winning.
We all vote for ourselves.
42 points.
We'll have to find some way to simulate this.
We're definitely gonna do a poll. America, let them know.
Yeah, let's put down on like the Twitter post all of our rosters in the bottom of the poll with our.
And we'll let you guys decide.
You
guys can vote.
You guys at home will decide who has the best team.
We'll also probably put on Instagram too, just
we'll do the required marketing for that, and we'll let the people speak.
Mm-hmm.
I hope they're not too biased and they just go with you because of what we said. But
they know
on paper. No, they don't. No, they don't. Because if they are thinking what you're thinking, they don't know.
They're both good for JD Landia.
JD Land. I mean, I don't know. What a creative name for a country. Or what about France without the H?
That's not that creative.
Oh, with it, the silent H. Yeah. That is hilarious. That was pretty fun. We haven't done something like that yet on the show. Definitely won't be the last original idea we have, but curious to see what people say. I'm gonna send it into the.
That was fun.
I'm gonna send it into the homie group chat. I'm gonna see what they say. We did want to get into one final thing. College football is back this Saturday. I think I read somewhere online that this is the last Saturday without college football or basketball till whenever the national championship
April or something.
So, like April 12th, I believe is around the date, which is just absolutely awesome for the people that love college.
We made it. We made it.
We made it. And I think every time the NFL season ends, it makes me realize how long that gap is. Same thing with college football, but then just like life, time flies when you're having fun, and it's already crazy that we're already here, Michigan, reigning champions, and we have a new college football playoff format. We're running short on time, but Cameron, can you, in a nutshell, explain the new college football format?
Yeah, so it expands now from 4 teams to 12. The 5 highest rated conference champions get their bid, and the 4 of those 5, the 4 highest rated of those get an automatic bid to the quarterfinals, so they get a first round bye. And the one thing that I think this change makes really interesting is for, schools like FAU, Group of 5 schools, because with those 5 highest rated conference champions automatically getting in, technically, really, there's 4 power conferences now with like the Pac-12 dead and gone. And then essentially it's kind of like agreed upon that the AAC, which the FAU plays in, is like probably the best Group of 5 conference. So it's almost like if you win the AAC, you have a really, really good shot of getting in the playoff. Because unless there's a really high rated conference champion out of somewhere like the Sun Belt somewhere like the CUSA or the Mountain West. That unless you have a really high-rated conference champion, you have a really good chance. So like I don't want to put any predictions out there, but like like a team like FAU, now you have such a better chance of getting in the playoff than 2 years ago when it just seemed unimaginable.
Which I feel like brings more of an incentive. Like, of course, like throughout college football, it's been like top 4 teams in those playoffs, but everyone else still playing bowl games, so that a little bit of incentive. Win 6 games, get a bowl. But now it's like you have a better chance, especially for Group of 5, because the only Group of 5 school that went into the football playoff was Cincinnati from the AAC. So AAC team already has history in the college football playoff. So possibly, I think you win their conference, they have more of an incentive.
Yeah.
I totally forgot that Cincinnati did make the playoffs. So.
They did.
Yeah, unless Alabama. Like double
but
digits,
Cincinnati making the playoff is like one of the reasons people hold that against like Cincinnati against like trying to expand the playoffs, because a lot of people made the argument that like more Group of 5 schools getting in is a double-edged sword, because the biggest complaint with like schools like that getting in is like, oh, we don't want to watch that, it's going to be a blowout. And now when you have more Group of 5 schools getting in, it's like, oh, well, there's going to be even more blowouts, which, let's be real, no one wants to, like, when it's like the national semifinal game, everyone wants to watch like a good game. Everyone wants like what we saw with Michigan and Alabama going into overtime.
But can you make an argument for that from 2 years ago for the national championship, where it was Georgia against TCU and TCU just got whooped by 60 points? Like,
yeah, but I
think that's a different example. One, because I don't think TCU, TCU is not like a good comparison to like Cincinnati getting in. One, because TCU is a Power 5 school, and they won their semifinal game. They beat Michigan in the semifinal, so they earned their place.
Like people saying, "Oh, we don't want to see blowouts from Group of 5 schools." Well, Power 5 school from Big 12, very competitive, very big conference, got that team in the national championship, got blowout. Sure, they won in the semifinals, but again,
where they debate in between us, but it's all right. We are pretty much at our time. We will save this topic for our next show, which is Wednesday, 2:30 to 3:30. You can watch us live on OwlTV or live on Instagram at UPress Sports. We're also broadcasting live on Owl Radio over the Breezeway. Hello, people on the Breezeway.
Hi.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening. Maddox, everybody, where can they find you?
They can find me on Instagram at MaddoxBlade04 and on Twitter at Maddox Greenberg.
You can find me on Instagram at Megan_Bruinsma and Twitter Megan Bruinsma.
You can find me on Instagram at jd.delcastillo and on Twitter at jd_Delcastillo.
You can find me on Twitter at CamPriester247.
Once again, guys, thank you so much for watching and listening. And yeah, that's been it, guys.
Peace.
Peace.